February the 3rd, 2025. I'm Grantor Lamont Darrell Belton, sui juris at law, Chief Judge for the Chartered Aboriginal Consular Court, Insular Tribunal. Aboriginal Consular Court, Insular Tribunal, Great Seal Perseverando, the location here, North America. It is the Superior Seal 1-200. That is the common law, domesticated internationally, of course, as Aboriginal form of government, Aboriginal titled, Uniform Commercial Code 1930 Geneva Convention. These combinations I have interwoven or have adhered together to make certain that there is the appropriate respect for what you may call natural person. The subject of this matter is Tik Tok has been indicted via I, Grantor Lamont Darrell Belton, the Chief Judge for the Aboriginal Consular Court, Insular Tribunal. You may have heard of the International Courts of Justice, of course, ICC, the World Court, and you know that there is a United Nations Declarations of Rights for Indigenous and Tribal Peoples, 2006, and then you have the 2016 American Declarations of Rights for the Indigenous people, okay, here. So what is the problem, Tik Tok? I can tell you the problem, okay? There is infidelity on your part, and I had to bring forth before the world that there is an Aboriginal title that exists, and I'll go to make the definition plain to you. That number 4, in terms of sui generis aspect of Aboriginal title, do not restrict the uses that Aboriginal peoples can make of their lands. Chief Justice Lamar proclaimed empathetically that Aboriginal title is a right to the land itself. Okay? And he went further. It is not a mere collection of rights to pursue activities on the land that were integral to the distinctive cultures of Aboriginal peoples before European peoples appeared on the scene, as British Columbia and Canada argued. Instead, Aboriginal title encompasses a full range of usages that need not be linked to past practices. So Aboriginal nations can engage in mining, lumbering, oil and gas extractions, and so on, even if they did not use their lands in those ways in the past. So let's get further. We're talking about Aboriginal title. I'm Grantor Lamont Darrell Belton, Chief Aboriginal Martial Law Officer. I had this badge physically made here. You may know the police of Southern Firing Arm here in Chesterfield that creates or makes or assists the state police for Virginia, and of course other colonial forces within that capacity per their seal. The lesser Six Center Tonandis. Tik Tok stick with I. This is why Tik Tok was indicted by this court, because I'm having to bring forth the definitions and the special nature that pertains to Aboriginal title. So let's go to Aboriginal title itself is Aboriginal self-government. The same Chief Justice Lamar expressly avoided the issue of self-government in one trial, however, was able to bring it back up. It is a vital part of this specific situation. They were talking about 2 tribes that were initiating certain memorandums. And of course, let's read further. The errors of fact made by the trial judge and they resulted the need for a new trial, making it impossible for the court to determine whether the claim to self-government has been made out. So let's read further. In this specific situation of this case, and I'm superior to case law, let's go to number 7 here, and let's read. Proof of Aboriginal title. In order to establish Aboriginal title, it says specifically, Chief Justice Lamar said that Aboriginal people must prove that they occupied the claimed land at the time or before the asserting of the Crown sovereignty. See, before the Crown asserted sovereignty, and that the occupation was exclusive. The date of Crown assertion of sovereignty is the relevant time, because in his words, Aboriginal title is a burden on the Crown's underlining title, and it does not make sense to speak of a burden on the underlying title before that title existed. Also, the date of sovereignty is generally more certain than that date of first contact with Europeans, which was the time the court designated in Van du Pit for proof of other Aboriginal rights. The Chief Justice distinguished Aboriginal title from Aboriginal rights, such as a right to hunt or fish, because Aboriginal title arises from occupations of land or possessing those lands, whereas the Aboriginal rights are different. However, at common law, listen, occupation of land in and of itself is sufficient to establish title. All right, so the common law is respected, and you can get a reference of this here. Defining Aboriginal title in the 90s, has the Supreme Court finally got it? And this was authored by Kent McNeil, Usgood Hall Law School, Toronto. 12th Annual Roberts, ROBARTS Lecture, March 25th, 1998, York University, Toronto. Roberts Center for Canadian Studies. So what they did is got within the very definition that Aboriginal title itself, that the First Nation people, my ancestors, you would keep control to the lands, even if there was a war. That itself, it will never displace you from the land, and of course would always keep you dear to the customs and the traditions. And of course, in a collective manner, in terms of a community, this Aboriginal title is layered. And of course, it is permanent. It is the effectual situation and cannot be disdained. So I wanted to bring to the attention of people that Aboriginal Consular Court, Insular Tribunal, I being their chief judge, took it upon myself. I did bring it before my body and before the community of Aboriginals. And we have watched and have warned Aboriginal, warned Tik Tok about their relationship with Pointer or Pointer University. Let me bring that up before we close. And if you're not aware of that, that is an entity that they use as media that they point to within their enforcement section. You know, when they strike you down or that is an offense to strike down the content that you put up. It's your private intellectual property. And this is coming from a real government that is putting up memorandum, Tik Tok, and you're not government, and you are a recipient of the COVID-19 federal funding program of the Pointed University that you point to in terms of the international fact checking. So I'm gonna bring this up quick, and I'll give you this factual here so that you would have this, and you would see that the year, now I bring that up, it popped right up here, let me get it, that Tik Tok was a recipient, okay, of the COVID-19, and we know that since then, the Trump administration and, of course, the Department of Justice know that many people were victim of assaults and were injured by this COVID-19 situation, okay? So I'm going to get to giving you some more information on this here. Okay, here we go. All right. So we get to here, and let's see. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, just give me a moment here. All right, so what happened is they pointed to a news media, International Fact-Checking Network, and the American Press Institute jointly published, okay, newsletters on fact-checking. But what I fact-checked is that none of you all are bonded, and you don't have the appropriate assurance. And these are not what you may call designated tribunals. In fact, the tribunal, as again, Aboriginal and Insular Tribunal in Consular Court, I'm being the chief judge. I was a victim and was injured by Tik Tok because this is intellectual property that you're uploading. They didn't do this to other news media, and I do respect that Donald Trump emphasized in the federal F.C.C. that there is free press and that there's freedom of speech. So I would hope that YouTube would keep this up, because this is really, really necessary. This is an assault on the landmass, and I have to bring it to your attention. The Pointer Institute received $737,400,000, $737,400,000, and federal loans from the Paycheck Protection Program during the COVID-19 pandemic. President Neil Brown noted that this was not the first time the Institute received government funding, noting past training contracts with Voice of America. Those are the activities, and then they bring up logo of the International Fact-Checking Network. So this is a very serious situation because on the website, TikTok has the MLAT Treaty, M-L-A-T, and that treaty is an international situation to protect and to respect or to make certain. This is on TikTok's website. Go to the enforcement where you would see if your video is taken down, they have an appeal process. And in that appeal, there is no judicial officers. There aren't any judicial capacities. So that's a misrepresentation of itself. So you're not going to scare people. You're not going to bully people into being careful about what they're saying. And you don't have a tribunal. This is the highest tribunal in the Americas. You can check the 1930 Geneva Convention, UCc, that the states are subjected or have adopted or have been put or forced under the UCc for bankruptcy. And bankruptcy is what you may call one who's defrauded one's creditors. See, so this is not astute on your part. Who would put an institution or an entity at risk as such like this? Because you are so desperate to try to label or blame unoriginal people because of the title that we have. And this goes out to every institution that is in media. I'm a producer. I did work with Comcast Channel 95 for 8 to 10 years, and I had my own production show, and there was no problems at all with the commissioners, no problems with the coordinators, none. I was able to talk about sui juris. I was able to bring forth the facts per am on the reservations with other Indians that were $5 Indians, not I. I was the Aboriginal Title I that went there to meet with the Confederacies, met with the United States, did the first indictments pertaining to the state of Virginia for what you may call civil malfeasance on public officials, all of this stuff. This ain't nothing new. You're not stopping anything. This is the real situation. So whether you like it or not, this is the facts. I tried to be at 4 minutes. Boy, I really wanted to do this, but I had to give you this fact. Thank you so much for your time. I'll keep you up on abreast of what's taking place. Again, officially, there is an indictment that exists that has been initiated via Aboriginal Consular Court, Insular Tribunal, a recordated court of fact. When you go on the World Marshal Authority website, worldmarshalauthority.life, you would see the references. Every time you upload something to TikTok, if you upload it within TikTok, when you record within TikTok mechanism, they're not disclosing to people that first time do it, that your video becomes locked down on their server. And that's intellectual property. That's copyright infringement. You can talk all you want because the intention is you want to try to use your modern technology to label somebody. And your modern technology is defamatory. It is libel and slander, and it has put an indictment on your establishment. You are distinguished from the Chinese people, whether you're a Chinese-owned company or not. As I said, you are in direct contradiction to your own MLAT Treaty. Look on your TikTok platform. Go to your legal section and you'll see. And you don't have any legal people that you can contact, which is a bad sign. You're not bonded. And of course, we don't have a record of you or your utilities operating on this landmass. So whatever you did with the United States Foreign Corporation Company, Volume 20, 1785, Corpus Juris, that entity was permanently reduced to what you may call a municipal renegade government, a de facto. And of course, the registered agent is in Delaware. And of course, it is an institution that offers general services administrations. If you need assistance, you can call the service administration per the United States, corporation company. All right. So we get these things specifically. Again, it is bad behavior and you do not represent the legal community. And I'm going to share with you all in closing. TikTok was able to post illegally calling this specific government or trying to defame it, and did put in libel and plant and slander that is like a stunt compared to some unsafety. And of course, it is dangerous content and got up there liking unto a professional that is in stunts. This is very, 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 very infidel of you, and very, very, very desperate to try to force your criminal behavior on this specific people in the Americas. You would not do it. Okay? So there is a superior entity to the United States, and it's the First Nation people. And we have first right of refusal and first lien and levy on the landmass. So whether you are comprehending that or not, I'm educating you. Again, I'm Grantor Lamont Darrell Belton. I've initiated the indictment. And of course, this is not the first time that I've indicted at the world level. In 2007, I was able to counter several, or either close to 25 to maybe 50 certain type agents within that capacity, and also within the federal United States. I'm the oversight to the revenue in terms of the civil public officials that are acting as police, attorney generals, FBI, Department of Justice, Homeland Security, all of that. I know that you have a hard problem sometimes seeing who's delivering this, and that has been the whole situation the whole time. But I can assure you, the information that I've uploaded, everybody in the world that is the toughest forces that really respect nature and aggressively about making arrests, where they're very much familiar with Lamont Belton's bonded, fully assured, full faith and credit standing. Much respects be to you. Pass this video around. Again, Tik Tok has been indicted this date by I, Grantor Lamont Darrell Belton, 3/3/2025, the Chief Judge for the Aboriginal Insular Tribunal, because what they did was so hideous and so vile and so foul that you're going to go forth and you being an LLC, no insurance, no proof of, going to try to defame an international tribunal that is bonded, full faith and credit, over your capacity that is over top of the United States bankruptcy on all continents, and you are a measly mere media that is defaming people, that is distinguished from good media, that in essence is promoting libel and slander, which makes you liable yourself. UCc1-308, all liberties reserved.